Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Jermaine Morgan TV, and today we're going to be talking about building your vocabulary within the groove part 2, so stay tuned. First and foremost, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors for this video today, Singular Sound. They sent the Beat Buddy over not too long ago when we did the first part of this lesson. And today we actually have the Eros Looper. And if any of you guys know me, you know looping is near and dear to my heart. I've written a lot of songs just from a simple looper pedal. And I've been having a lot of fun just digging into learning how to use this Eros and the Beat Buddy sync together. Yeah, they actually sync together, and we'll get a little bit more into that towards the end of this video. But I want to share some thoughts with you all about some things that you can use when building the groove. For the sake of this lesson, we're going to be in the key of F minor. And if any of you guys saw the building vocabulary video 1, then this was pretty much the same type of groove. It was this calypso type vibe that we were playing to, based off of this loop that I found in the Beat Buddy. So with this groove that we're building from, it's based off of 3 chords, and those 3 chords are F minor, G minor, and C7, right? So, and I'll show you these chords for you guys that say, hey, I don't know any chords, so I don't know if I can use this looper anyway, so this lesson is not relevant. Trust and believe you're going to be able to use these chords. I'm going to show them to you now, and you can use them all up and down the bass. Just change the key, right? So, all right, and if you know this, just pretend like you don't for the sake of the people who don't, right? So, all right, so we're going to jump right into an F minor. We're playing that 1, that flat 7, and that minor 3rd, right? It's the same shape, we just take it up a whole step and do it over G. Exact same thing. And then for that C7, it's basically a 1, which is that C, that 3rd, and that 7. Right? So those are our 3 chords. And the way that I'm playing those chords in the groove is I'm leaving the root out of the chord so I can play that root with my bass. So that's one of the things you would kind of want to think about when you're using a looper or something like that. You don't want your chords too thick where you can't hear the actual bass notes that you're trying to play or the bass notes that you want to shine through. So we want to make sure that we leave the root out of those particular chords. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play. So it's basically the same thing, just leaving the root out. All right, so here's that in context. So as you can hear, I've looped that already within the Eros, and so I just add my bass line on top of it. That's what you heard me playing earlier. So I can take this bass line, just a variation of that F minor to G minor to C7. We'll play it in context real quick so you can hear it all together once again. So the first thing I want to point out to you guys is how I'm navigating around this groove. I don't want to speed to a lick and not necessarily show you the groove application. So the way I'm moving around this groove, I'm using the loop and all the elements that I'm hearing. Just say I don't know anything about that style of music. That's kind of cool because the drums kind of can give you an idea. Granted, studying that type of music will give you a better concept of how it should feel. But for the time being, if we're just trying to learn how to use what's there in the percussion to just build our groove, let's listen to this track again that's happening with the Beat Buddy. I'm listening for elements within that loop to see what I can build my bass line from. So it's boom, 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 boom. So I could keep it that simple. One. So I could take something that simple, but what you hear me do, I'm playing more of like the octave, fifth, and the lower root. And oftentimes what I'll do is I'll switch the rhythm of it up, and I'll just kind of reverse how I'm playing it. Or, so you just kind of give variations of that. Or, so let's play that a little bit just so you can kind of hear how I'm moving it. And so the other thing I was doing, not only was I just using the octaves, I'm using that too as well. I'm moving around that whole thing. 1, 2, minor third, 5, octave. And those are some of the same elements that we're going to use to start trying to add like riffs and that kind of thing to the groove. But the biggest thing we want to do is kind of expand what we already know and incorporate it in the groove. Most of you guys know already how to play using the octaves, using the fifths and that kind of thing. But oftentimes we kind of look over those simple things and we just stick to, you know, we kind of look over the things in between. And the other thing that's happening, I'm using the rhythmic stuff that's happened within the loop to figure out what I want to do with my right hand. I'm taking that rhythm and moving it around the strings. And so with that particular rhythm, I can add more notes to it, or I can take away certain notes from that particular thing. And it's just really about what I feel like doing in the moment. One of the things I want you to take away from this lesson is like there's no set right or wrong way to do it. In particular when we're talking about practice, because what we can do in these times is we develop our feel, and the more we kind of know how to get in and out of the groove by the rhythmic stuff that's happening around us, by using a tool like the Beat Buddy or something like that, we're looping with this arrows, we're looping the chord base. So I understand the chord structure, the reason why I told you guys what the chords were, then I understand where I can move to. If I know this is minor, this is minor, and this is that C7. Even if I don't fully understand everything, it does give me a little bit more of an outline to know what I can use. So I can use a minor pentatonic, or at least elements from that minor pentatonic once I start to try to build some cool lines. And doing the same thing here. And there I can use kind of like a somewhat of a arpeggio. So we can take basically a 1, minor third, 5, flat 7, back to 1, right? So we can take that chord. So basically we can take that 1, minor third, 5, flat 7, back to 1. And we can move that around and do it over the G as well. And then we can go to this C. And all I'm playing there is the 1, third, 5, 7. It's kind of like basically arpeggios I'm doing over all these chords. And the thing I want to do with each one of those, I know I'm moving kind of fast, so if you need to go back and rewind something in this video, please do so. But the thing I want to do with this particular lesson, I want to find ways to navigate. And right now we're just using the root just so we can figure out how to get from chord to chord. But here's a cool way that I can get from that G to that C. So I can take this same shape, right, that with that F minor, and I can go with that same shape with that G, 1, minor third, 5. Now I can flat that 5 to get me to that C. You see what I'm doing? I did it up an octave. Let's do it down so we can add that actually in the groove. And so we'll do that arpeggio over that C. And I'm just changing the rhythm of it up. And I can do whatever rhythm that I feel comfortable doing. And that's the thing about what we're doing with this looper pedal. We got this going, and we could try all types of variations of it. So let's put this actually in context and try to put it all together. Right? So we're taking all of these different elements and just finding different ways that we can incorporate them in the groove. I posted this on my Facebook page, and if you guys are not following me, I'm Jermaine Morgan on Facebook. Just look up Jermaine Morgan, and you'll see a picture or you'll see a logo. Either one. Just follow either page, and you can be connected with me there on Facebook. But I posted something on Facebook, and I said one of the things that I've noticed in coaching bass players and that type of thing, I noticed that bass players who are trying to grow and build their chops oftentimes look over the simplicity of what they know and trying to build and grow from that rather than trying to add more and more to your vocabulary. And there's nothing wrong at all with adding more to your vocabulary, but I kind of liken it to someone who has a huge, you remember the Sears toolboxes, the Big Red Toolbox is full of tools. You know, your dad or uncle or grandpa or somebody would have the big, huge toolbox, but they actually knew what all those tools did. But the thing I see with a lot of bass players with learning theory and all those types of things, we like to take and build this big, great toolbox, but we only know how to use about 2 or 3 tools in it. We don't know what half of that stuff in the toolbox is for. We know what it is. We know the technical name for it. But when it comes to actually using it on something, I don't know how to apply it. But my thing that I want to do is I want to give you tools that you can actually apply real time. So the things that I'm showing you today, I want you to be able to work on them today and use them tomorrow if need be. Because what we want to do is take simple concepts and begin to apply those simple concepts to our muscle memory so that this stuff comes natural to us. Because what I've experienced in my years of doing this, oftentimes when you learn something new and you try to pull it out fresh, a lot of times half of that stuff is out of the window, and you're so busy focusing on the song or trying to make sure you're playing the right notes, so to speak, that the new stuff that you learn, you can't quite remember all of it, or if you do happen to pull it out, it's not as polished as it should be, in which that's cool. That's part of the learning process. But I think if we can take and build up on the things that we already know, most of us, I would assume most of you guys watching this video, you already know your major and your minor pentatonic scale. And if you don't know those scales, please go and learn those scales right now. Do yourself a favor and make sure you learn those scales, because they are going to help you in the music that we play as bass players. You can almost pull that out at any time and it will work. That major, you know, if we was in a key of F major, that's your major pentatonic. A good way I tell my students to remember the major pentatonic is think about My Girl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 octave. That's all we're doing, right? So the notes are 1 in numbers. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, right? That's your major pentatonic. And if we want to go for the minor pentatonic, 1, minor third, 4, 5, flat 7, and back to that octave. Stuff you've already heard before. So these are things that should already be in your arsenal, and you just want to pull and build from that arsenal. And basically what I'm doing, the little nugget that I wanted to show you guys today, is we're taking variations of stuff that we already know and trying different ways, you know. And we're just adding a little half step. That's another little thing I want to throw in there before I end this lesson. It's taking a half step, you know. So we can take a half step away from the note in any direction and it'll work. So I'll show you what I'm talking about really quick. So you get the idea where we can kind of take that and move that around. You always want to be thinking of where you're going. That to me helps you to better build your lines and build your licks and that kind of stuff. When you have an idea of where you're trying to land, it helps you to choose what the next thing you're going to do. So the whole point of me giving you these 3 chords in the beginning is so you can get the idea of the chord structure. Now that's not to say that you're going to always know the chord structure, but I think in your own private practice time, if you take a small concept like this using the looper. So if you guys will notice, there's a MIDI connection right here on the arrows that allows it to sync up with the Beat Buddy. This cable is sold separately, but you can get all of it when you purchase this through Singular Sound. And just for you guys, I'll put a little code in the description where you can get a discount off of all of this stuff if you decide to purchase this. But it syncs and it has a digital. I love the fact that it has a digital screen, has a memory bank, it has a separate volume controls. You have 3 buttons on here that you can actually go to the next part of the song. So it gives you a lot of areas that you can kind of go creatively when you have the drums there, and then you can have the accompaniment with your chords. You can add the bass line or take out the bass line and play the bass line live, whatever you want to do. But the idea behind this thing is you want to be able to start incorporating little small elements of things so that you can begin to see how they work in your groove. The ultimate goal is not to just have a big, huge arsenal of tools that we never use. We want to have stuff that we can pull out at any given time. Like the things that I show you guys, I want you to be able to take it and actually gig with it like tomorrow. If you're applying this today, I want you to be able to use it tomorrow. That's the biggest thing I want to help you guys do, is to unlock your sound. All right, so that's pretty much it for this video today. And remember, if you want to know more about these arrows, I will link it and the Beat Buddy. You can go right to the website and watch some videos and learn how to use all the features and all that kind of stuff, because you know it's a really cool tool. And I can say from the standpoint of having used looper pedals for years, it has definitely worked wonders in my creativity and helping me to think and create on the spot. And I think it will do some wonders for you as well with having the two, the Beat Buddy and the arrows, if that's something that you're interested in trying. Also, I want to make mention of these straps. Many of you guys have seen these straps, and some guys have asked me about them on other videos, but these are my own signature straps created by Evo Straps. And I'll put that link in the description if you guys want to learn a little bit more about the JM signature strap. Again, guys, I appreciate you for hanging out with me this long. I hope I've added some value to you and your bass playing, and ultimately helping you to unlock your sound. Listen, if you want more content like this, be sure to subscribe and also hit that bell notification so you know when I'm posting a new video, and you also know the times that I go live. It's a little bit more rare these days, but there are times that I go live, and I don't want you to miss any of this content. And if you find time, be sure to head over to JermaineMorgan.net. I have tons of resources over there to help people just like you. A lot of times it's just you don't know what you don't know, and sometimes you just need somebody to cut on the light bulb for you, and I want to do that for you. And I can do that as well as on YouTube. I can do a little bit more on JermaineMorgan.net, and there's tons of resources that I've created specifically for some of the needs that you may currently have. So be sure to leave a comment below and let me know if this was helpful for you. Also, be sure to share this with somebody if you found this helpful. If you know another bass player out there that this would be helpful to, be sure to share that with them. And I really appreciate you guys for hanging around and rocking with me. I will see you on the next video. I am out. Peace.